and this week we're taking a look at Echo or Iku or however you want to call it. It's a pretty much abstract game in which you're trying to take control of the whole desert of Echo or Iku by building buildings or killing all the other players. Let's take a look at it so you can get an overall picture. Okay, so this is what Eco looks like, and at the beginning of the game you're going to do the setup, in which you're going to put all the players' tiles we have here into this leather bag in order to put them in the board. In this game, you're trying to either kill all the units from the other players and be the only player who has tiles or units on the board, or you're trying to get 12 points and control the capital, the spaces we have here. So what can you do in your turn? In your turn, you have two phases. The first phase is the action phase, in which you can choose to move or to construct. If you choose to move, you can move in an empty space as far as you want, okay? As far as it is connected by empty spaces, okay? So I can move here, here, or here, whatever place I want. Another thing I can do is to move to regroup. So I could move one of my units or a stack of units to another stack of units I have. See, there you go. The maximum stack I can have is 4, okay? I can't have more than 4 units in the same stack. Another thing I can do, let's say, is that I had these two tokens in the same stack, is to move to attack a smaller stack. Let's say I'm the white guy and I want to attack this one, so I put it here and this goes to the purple player. There's an exception here that is the next one. Let's say that my 2 stack, instead of having 2 normal units, had 1 unit and the emperor. Then I can attack smaller stacks and stacks of the same level, 2 against 2, and I would still win. I would even still win no matter if the other stack of players, of units of the other player has the emperor disc in it, okay? In that case, I would attack it, I would kill it, so this unit would go to the purple one, but this one, as it's the emperor, this would go to the prison of my player sheet, okay? Each emperor I've captured gives the player that has captured it 3 points for each emperor that is in the jail. Then we can construct. How can we construct? Well, it's quite simple. Let's say I have this here and I want to build. First thing I have to do is to build these little houses we've got. So I pay 1 token, never the emperor, to put the building, let's say here. Well, you can build with the emperor. Let's say I only have the emperor there, so I decide to, where's the emperor, in order to build a house there. Then, let's say I had these 2 here. Another action I could do is to upgrade my buildings. So this one is a little house. I can spend 2 tokens to upgrade this little house into a tower. Okay? Then let's say that in another turn I had this 3 here. Well, I could spend this 3 to upgrade this tower into this big temple. But this temple can't be built here. The temples can only go in these plateaus or whatever you want to call them, okay? Temples can only be built there. Towers can only be built here, here, or here. They can never be built in this spiked or spotted terrains. And houses can be built in whichever space you want, except in this big holes that there are in the board. Okay, so that's basically how you build. Another thing you can do, let's say that I'm the white player and that the blue player has built a blue house here. I can spend 1 more disc than the building cost, okay? So this costs 1 token, I have 2, oops, so that's 1 extra token. I can spend them in order to transform his little house into my little house. Let's say he has a temple here and that I have 4 tokens here. The temple requires 3 to be built. So I spend 4 in order to transform his temple to my temple. Each temple that you've built, well, you only have 1, gives you 3 points. Each tower you have built gives you 2 points. And each house you have built gives you 1 point. So if at a certain moment you have 12 points and a building on one capital, you're the winner. That's the action phase. And then you have the reinforcement phase. In the reinforcement phase, you're going to put as many tokens as you want back again in the game. Always respecting these 3 rules. The tokens can't go in an empty space, so I couldn't put them here. I need to put them where my troops are already. So let's say I want to put 3 here. Okay? So I have 3 here, and that's my reinforcement phase. Another rule is that I can't put my reinforcement troops in a spot adjacent to another player's building. So let's say that the purple one has a house here. I'm not able to reinforce my troops here because they're in an adjacent spot to the purple player house. And the third rule is that I can only reinforce in a single stack or a single space, however you want. Okay, so I'm not able to reinforce to here and this to here. Okay, because that would be adding in more than one single space. So those are the 3 rules, and once you have reinforced, you have to reinforce obligatory. Okay, it's obligatory to reinforce. So at the end of each of your turn, you will have to reinforce at least 1 unit. So once you've reinforced, the next player will have his turn, and the next one, and then you will have the turn again until there is only 1 player units in the board, or until one of the players has 12 points and controls a capital. So that's basically how it works. So let's go and take a look at my top 3 about eco. Okay, so the third thing I like the most about eco, it's that a simple game, but not an easy game. I mean, it's easy to teach, and it's really simple what things you can do. You can move, you can regroup your troops, or you can build, and after that you have to reinforce your troops. That's simple, but it's not an easy game. I mean, it's really difficult sometimes to read what you really should do, because your actions usually depend on what other players are doing, how are they moving their pieces through the board. If that makes you vulnerable, if maybe some player will attack you or can attack you now because that player moved that piece. It's not an easy game, but I like that it's simple, and I like that it's not easy even though it's simple. So that's the third thing I like the most about eco. The second thing I like the most about eco is the artwork and the components, because I think it's really... This is a game, each time we put on the table, it's like, whoa, this game is stunning. And it is. You have these wooden pieces, you have the buildings, the artwork looks amazing. It's just gorgeous. And that's something I like a lot, because it helps my point number 1 about the things I like the most of eco. Because the thing I like the most about eco, it's that it's really an abstract game. But it's not a pure abstract. It doesn't feel like this super mathy, absolutely themeless game in which you're trying to think which piece should you move here or there. And this game, well, it plays basically like those games. But you have this silly theme in the game in which you're trying to conquer the desert because you're one of the 4 chorus generals. And I mean, that theme is meh, okay? But having these buildings, having this good artwork involved, having this different colors and different drawings on each tile depending on which color you chose to play, that is something that makes this abstract game not look so abstract. And that's something I think it's really cool about this game. So let's go to my ratings. Well, I'm gonna give for the mechanics of eco a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9 because I think it's a really cool and well-designed abstract. The first thing I like the most about the mechanics is that it's not this kind of dense abstract. It is an abstract, don't get me wrong, but it's not this abstract like in which you're like, what should I do? And then you're thinking for a half an hour, and then you move and the other player goes on, what should I do? and half an hour again, and then he moved to no. This is a really quick, fast game. Okay, you might think a little bit. 5 minutes each turn. Okay, something like that. 5 minutes. Okay, no problem with that. But it doesn't have this analysis paralysis situation in which your brain is almost melting. No. It's a quick and easy game. Not easy, but simple. Because you don't have that much options to choose between in your turn. So that's the reason I'm going to give it a 9. The mechanics are cool. It plays well. It has good mechanics. It's not at all broken. So that's the reason I'm going to give it a 9. However, for the theme, I'm going to give Eco a 2. I'm going to give it a 2 because, yeah, it's pretty much an abstract. Well, pretty much, no, it's an abstract. I don't think that no one is going to tell you that it isn't an abstract game. But, however, they took the time to think a little bit about this silly theme in which you're a cursed general trying to take control of the desert of Eco and blah, 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 whatever. We don't care about the theme, but it is there. And the tokens and the pieces, the wooden pieces, the buildings, they are nice and they took care of that. It's not just a bunch of black, white, and red pieces you're trying to move on the board. So that's something I really appreciate about the game. And yeah, it's pretty much an abstract, so the theme is not almost there at all. But you still have some small details that make this game a little bit more catchy. So that's the reason I'm going to give the theme a 2. So let's go and take a little look to the art and the components. Well, for the art and the components, I'm going to give Eco a 9. I'm going to give it a 9 because this game is really stunning and gorgeous and the components are really, really good. So let's take a look at it. We first have here the box, which has a gorgeous cover. Typical square box. Oh, and here comes the first no-no. Come on, guys. You're really putting ads in the box? I mean, there's some games that put the kind of rule book with some images and an advertisement of other board games the company has made, but really? Advertisement on the box of your game? Meh, that is a big no for me. Okay? The rest of the box is okay. It's good. It's nice. Even the design in the inside of the box is nice. That's good. The rulebook is really small. Well, not small. It's really brief. It's really well written. Everything is really clear. I don't like that it folds like this because it takes a lot of space to manage it and in the table. But well, the rulebook it's quite good. Okay, so that's the box. Good cardboard for the box. And then we have the game itself. The game itself is really good. The only problem I have with the components is this player or character sheet that is like cardboard, but really thin cardboard. And the thing that worries me the most about this is that the artwork is so good that I'm always scared that this is going to scratch or something is going to break it. I don't know. It doesn't cost that much to make it a little bit thicker. But, well, it's the publisher choice, not my matter. But that's something I don't like a lot. On the other hand, we have this building tokens, which I find really nice. Okay, they're like Chinese houses, almost. Then we have this towers that look like the tail of a whale or something. And then we have this ridiculously long temple that is also, as I said, a kind of Chinese temple or something. Then we have the unit tokens, which are really good, thick, very thick wooden pieces that have a really nice design. Then we have the Emperor tokens, which are really cool because all of them are different. This one, and there's a fourth color that I'm not going to show because it's inside the box. And I don't know, I like them a lot. I like that the designs are really abstract, but they're cool. They are like faces, right? We have this one that looks like it's smoking or something. Then we have this one that reminds me a lot of Studio Ghibli movie. Then we have this one, that is kind of a golem or something. They look like faces, but they're good. They're wooden, chunky tiles. easy to manage. These are really good components. Then we have the board tiles that are like this. They're really good. They're thick. Something I like a lot is that they have written the letters here in order for you to know that you have all of them, because during the game you're gonna mix them and you're gonna put it in any way you want. Well, in any way you want in the way they say it, so it makes like a triangle or a star. And I like that they wrote here the letters so you can check that you have all the tiles you need to have. And that's basically all the components. Oh, you also have this leather bag, which is nice. It's okay to randomize the starting and the setup of the game. So that's basically all the components of Eco. And in my opinion, they're really good. I really like this wooden chunky tiles that are basically the main component of the game. So that's the reason I'm going to give it a 9 for the art and the components. So let's go to my final rating. Okay, so my final rating for Eco is going to be an 8. It's going to be an 8 because it's a really fun game in which I like a lot. Each time we put it on the table, it's just gorgeous to see it. The components and the artwork is incredible. But besides that, it really is a good game. And the thing I like a lot about this game is that it's a perfect gateway game for abstracts. I think that if someone is trying to learn abstract games and you think he might enjoy that kind of games, Eco is the perfect game to show them, because it has this silly theme that introduces the abstract mechanics in the game, and well, just a really good game. So that's the reason I'm gonna give it an 8 as my final rating. So I'm gonna give this game a seal of approval.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.